In the heart of Yemen, a group called the Houthis, also known as Ansar Allah, began to take shape in the 1990s. Born out of frustration and disenfranchisement, they emerged from the northern province of Sada. Initially, their movement was peaceful, a religious cultural revival of sorts, fostering a sense of identity and community. But as the political landscape of Yemen became more turbulent, their objectives began to evolve. The group transitioned from a cultural movement to a political one, voicing their discontent with corruption and economic neglect. Their journey was not without resistance. The group faced both local and international challenges, but these struggles only seemed to strengthen their resolve. The year 2014 marked a significant shift in their trajectory. The Houthis led a rebellion against Yemen's government, an event that would forever change the course of Yemen's history. This act of defiance did not come without consequences. The rebellion led to a humanitarian crisis of unimaginable proportions, and Yemen found itself in the throes of a decade-long civil war. The rebellion of 2014 marked a turning point, leading to a humanitarian crisis and setting the stage for a decade-long civil war. Fast forward to the present day, the Houthis control most parts of Yemen, including the capital, Sana'a. They emerged as a force to reckon with in the late 90s and have since risen to prominence. Their rebellion against the Yemeni government in 2014 marked a turning point, plunging the nation into a deep humanitarian crisis that persists to this day. This group, also known as Ansar Allah, is now at the heart of a conflict that has become a decade-long civil war. Ceasefire talks have been ongoing with Saudi Arabia, a key player in the region, but the situation remains complex and volatile. In recent times, the Houthis have engaged in a series of actions that have raised eyebrows around the globe. They have been targeting Israel-linked ships in the Red Sea, an act they justify as a response to Israel's war on Gaza. This has led to an escalation of tensions, with the United States and United Kingdom launching military strikes in Yemen in response to the Houthi-led attacks. These attacks have had far-reaching implications. On one hand, they have helped the Houthis gain domestic support, giving them de facto legitimacy. On the other, they have threatened to derail ceasefire negotiations and jeopardize the already fragile peace within Yemen. The Houthis are also engaging in talks with Saudi officials, seeking to negotiate a permanent ceasefire. Their demands include increased humanitarian aid for Gaza, a situation that further complicates the already intricate web of Middle Eastern politics. While some analysts fear that the Houthis may use their increased recruitment numbers to expand their ambitions, others believe they may seek closer relations with Saudi Arabia, which could prevent further escalation. It's a delicate balance, and the way forward is anything but clear. The world watches with bated breath as Yemen faces the world's worst humanitarian crisis, with 2/3 of its population in dire need of assistance. The future of Yemen hangs in the balance, with the actions of the Houthis playing a pivotal role. The Houthi group, currently controlling most parts of Yemen, is engaged in ceasefire talks with Saudi Arabia. The negotiations have been far from straightforward, as the Houthis demand increased humanitarian aid amidst what is known as the world's worst humanitarian crisis. 2/3 of Yemen's population is in dire need of assistance, and the Houthis' insistence on this point has given them a certain degree of domestic support. Their negotiation efforts with Saudi Arabia and other countries are gradually lending them a kind of de facto legitimacy. However, the situation remains tense. The Houthis have been targeting ships linked to Israel in the Red Sea, a strategic waterway for global shipping. They maintain that this is in response to Israel's actions in Gaza, but these attacks could have wider implications. If these attacks continue, they could threaten the fragile peace within Yemen and derail the ongoing ceasefire negotiations. There's a palpable fear among analysts that the Houthis, with their increased recruitment numbers, may harbor larger ambitions. This could mean an expansion of their influence or even territory. On the other hand, some believe the group may seek closer relations with Saudi Arabia, a move that could potentially prevent further escalation of the conflict. The stakes are high, and the world is watching closely. The actions of the Houthis in the coming months will determine not only their future, but also the fate of war-torn Yemen. As the world waits and watches, the actions of the Houthis will continue to shape the future of Yemen. Don't forget to let me know in the comments what you want me to cover next. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe. This means a lot to me. Thank you.